Hi guys, this is Kaylee. I just wanted to start this episode off by letting you all know that this is going to be a lot shorter than our previous episodes and our episodes from now on. We just wanted to give you a first look at what our upcoming travel and budget episodes are going to be like. I also want to give a little disclaimer that the sound is a little off. I'm still trying to figure out how to make my mic sound good, and equalizing it like this was just the best way to not blow out your eardrums. So please just bear with us as we're trying to figure out our technology. And we're just so grateful for all of you for listening to our pod so far. And big shout out to Annie's husband for helping us, and for my husband as well. Just your knowledge and expertise in technology really helps us, and your support is so important to us. We love both of you. I also just wanted to mention that this is going to be an audio only episode. Life was just crazy for both of us, and we weren't able to get around to finding all of the graphics and extra videos that we needed. But we have ample time for our next episode to make sure that it is the best episode that we can get out to you. It is us just talking about our favorites in the park, and we, of course, just love talking about Disney and our favorites in general, so it's going to be one of the best episodes so far. But let's get into the episode.
Hello, and welcome back.
Welcome.
We're so excited for this episode because, first of all, finally convinced my family to go on a Disney trip, and I'm so excited about that
I'm so excited for you.
because I just love going to Disney, and being able to go with my family is awesome.
Yeah.
It's very awesome. So I have already booked the trip, but we wanted to be able to take you all on the process with us so that if you ever wanted to book through us and you wanted to see how it was going to play out on the podcast, this is how it would go. So yeah, without further ado, okay, Utahns, let's go to Disney. All right, sweet. Let's dive right in.
Yeah.
So, first of all, the big thing that you need to know when you first start planning your trip is when are you going and how many people are going to be coming with you. There are, of course, like sub questions of this. So because I'm going with my family, there's going to be 6 people going. Me, my husband, my mom, my dad, and my 2 brothers. And because one of my brothers is technically a child, I also have to know their age. Because Disney is one of the only amusement parks that recognizes 11-year-olds as adults. So that's usually why, like, if we ask you, like, what the names and ages of everybody that's going is, that's why. It's just because if they are over the age of 11, they want to charge their tickets as an adult.
Yes.
A lot of this is going to be pictures, so you probably won't see our faces as much. If it's not a picture, like, there's going to be a picture, like, up here showing, like, the spreadsheet, the travel agent site.
Right.
Yeah.
My face.
So, the dates. So we've already booked for my brother's fall break. So we're going from the 18th to the 21st of October. So we already know what dates we want to go. So if we're going to look at hotels, we want something. My mom wanted something that was walkable, and I wanted something that if it wasn't walkable, we could take the bus.
Yes.
Because the bus is so underrated, and I didn't realize that. I feel like I didn't realize most things until I went on a trip with my husband. The bus is so nice.
So nice. And
Like-
when we went too, we could walk to the park, but we could bus home. It
Mm-hmm.
was so nice.
Yeah, it was a beautiful.
We had the energy to get to the park, but we did not have the energy to get home.
Yeah. And even like that stretch from like the gate to where the bus stop was almost too.
Yeah.
I was like, could they not just bring a golf cart to us and then take us to the buses?
Get like the hoverboards or whatever they're called.
Yeah. We were very spoiled.
Yes.
So another thing that, of course, I wanted to look for my family is making sure we got the cheapest hotel possible. So the first result that popped up for us was the Spring Hill Suites. So the hotel is not on Harbor, it's back on Walnut, which is behind Disneyland. So our entrance would be coming in through downtown Disney. We won't be coming in through the front gates, which I honestly love staying back there. The first time I ever stayed back there, I was on a trip with my dance troupe. And the walk was a little bit much, but you're right by Mickey and Friends parking, so you can just hop on in there and hop on a tram into the park.
Yeah. Get your security with out of the way.
Yeah.
So nice.
And it's also nice that you're still within like a good distance to be able to like go eat at downtown Disney right when you get in, or you're far enough away, but you're far enough away that you're not running with everybody to get out of the park, but you're also close enough that you don't have to Uber in every day because you're like 2 miles away.
Yeah.
But with this room, something that I really wanted to make sure that I got is that everybody had their own bed if they wanted to, because my one brother doesn't really like touching people anymore. Understandable. As I get older, I'm like, I don't want people touching me either outside of my husband. So what's great about the Spring Hill Suites is the room that I got not only has 2 queen beds, so for me and my husband and my mom and my dad, but it also has a pull-out sleeper and a trundle. So my brothers have their own beds.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then of course going back through like all the other amenities that the hotel offers, a big thing for us is because we're not breakfast in the park people, because we don't want to get held up by all the other people also going to breakfast right in the park, is that a big thing with this hotel is that it has complimentary breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
So we can eat before we go. We can eat in the morning before the park opens, and then we can make our way into the park, get right to our first churro of the day, get in the line for a ride, and just hit the ground running. There's also a pool and like a hot tub, which I feel like most hotels have. It's not too big of a priority on people, but if you are pool people, I would suggest looking more into like the Howard Johnson. It is a little bit more expensive, but they have a great pool area.
And if you get a spot in the Hojo, that's what it's like.
Everyone calls it the Hojo, yeah.
I don't know, that's what it's called. If you get the right, like in the hotel, you get a perfect view of fireworks.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's right by like a couple of restaurants. I think it's within walking distance of a McDonald's. I don't know if the Mimi's is still there. And I mean, you're right up there next to the entrance. So it's like,
Yeah.
you can, what we used to do, because my grandparents will only stay at the Hojo. They will not stay anywhere else. So we'll stop at McDonald's and get breakfast and then continue going into the park. And then our breakfast is done by the time we get in and we're just good to go.
It's lovely.
It's so nice.
Also, can't you take the public transportation? We like
Mhm.
figured that out because those buses, the art buses, went through past the Hojo, right?
Yeah. And something really cool too about the art buses is that you can add on art passes with
The purchase.
with your purchase, because you can actually add it on as ground transportation through us. So we can do that now. Very fun. But yeah, now we've got the hotel and everything out of the way. It's fit all of the criteria that we wanted. So now, because my parents don't have to pay for us anymore, a big thing for us is making sure that we have a good even split of everything. Actually, what I do is I just split the total cost. So for us, it was $3,001.27. So I just divided that by 6. And then depending on the household, I times it by that many people in the household. Long explanation. But the per person comes out to around $500. So my parents are paying for 3 people, so they pay $1,500. Me and my husband are paying for 2 people, so that's $1,000. And my brother's only paying for himself, so that's $500.
Perfect.
Simple, easy math. This is something that you really should be looking into too if you want to go on like trips while you're in college. This is what really helped me to show my friends that these trips are realistic for us to take. I think me and my 6 friends went. We stayed at the hotel right next to the one that my family is going to be staying at. And I think it was like $250 to $300 a person at the time for a 2-day vacation. which was awesome. And it was like, oh yeah, we have 4 months to save up for this. I can do that.
Yeah, that's very doable.
And a great thing about Disney is that you can do payment plans. So you start off, you pay $200 up front, and then you can pay your travel agent throughout the rest of the time until your payment is due, which usually is about like 30 days before your vacation.
Which is so doable, especially if you're able to plan your trip a year in advance. You know, like start planning now, get your payment plan going, and then you're not taking everything out at once, so that when you do come to the park, you have your budgeted money for what you do want to spend it too.
Yeah, 100%. Something that I use a lot and I throw it out to everybody is using a app called Opportune. So it's not like other budgeting apps where it's like you tell it to save $5 every day and hope that you make it to your budget. What you do is you put in the day you want to have, like let's say you want to have $2,000 saved up by, it's OPORTUN. Oh, you connect your checking account to it. You say, I want to save $2,000 by, what's a good time next year? March 31st. And so it's going to look at your checking account every day and take a percentage out of it. You can also set limits. So it's like, I don't want my checking account to go over $200. I don't, like, if we hit the goal, I don't want you to continue saving. It's so easy to use. It's helped me over so many trips. Like, my husband and I are currently saving up for a Japan trip next October. And just in the last 4 months, I think we were able to save like $3,000 through Opportune. It's wonderful. And you don't even have to think about it. You just leave it alone and it just saves stuff for you. It's so easy and wonderful. But yeah, let's look at, okay, other things that we need to look at. So now that we've got the trip booked, there are a couple of things we need to look at. We need to look at ticket availability to see if we can kind of gauge ourselves what the crowd is going to look like, the crowd forecast to see what they expect the crowd to look like, and looking at a ride closures calendar to see what you might be missing while you're on the trip. Let's look at ticket availability. All right, and we're going to be looking at October. 1 park per day. It looks pretty available right now. It's not reserved to one day or the other. And then Park Hopper also looks the same, pretty available. And then let's look at a crowd calendar for Disneyland. The last time I did look at October, the weekend that we are going is expected to be extremely packed because I think there just happens to be a lot of people who are on fall break that weekend.
Right.
So I was trying to convince them like, hey, why don't we go in like November when nobody's there? But they're like, no, we want to go over fall break. And I'm like, I get it, but
What about the other fall break?
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
So if you look at this, we're going to be at California Adventure on the 19th and we're going to be in Disneyland on the 20th. We are pretty used to it being packed. I feel like when we used to go in February, so it wasn't extremely packed, but we are people where we are okay if it is packed because we understand that it's fine if we don't get to everything. We're just going to do everything we can.
Exactly.
Because the most important part is just that we're there as a family.
Yeah.
That's why we go, is just so that we can all be there together.
And that's the other thing too, like especially since your family is like grown now, more mature, you can enjoy the littler things, like taking everyone around to go and get like souvenir signed things, or like do a scavenger hunt who can take the most pictures in X amount of time. You can really make some fun, manageable activities without being like, yeah, we have to wait in lines for 6 hours, but the lines are still fun too. Like,
yeah, and we have
within reason.
Yeah, and we have things to talk about now that we're all aware. It's like when you're younger, it's like you talk about stuff, but it's like, I'm so excited to get a lollipop at the end of the night. I'm so excited to go see
Minnie
Minnie Mouse. But now it's like, now we don't really talk about like adult things and like, oh, taxes this year, but it's like we talk about adult things like, how has the weather been around where you live? And it's not one of those things where we're just trying to say something to say something. It's like we have an actual discussion about the weather, or we talk about upcoming games for my brothers, or like the clients that my mom has had because she's a nail tech. So like if she's had any funny stories about like mishaps that have happened with their nails or something like that. And my dad also has a podcast, which is pretty popular, I would say. Fourth Row Podcast. It's a podcast all about 2A sports. And my dad and my uncle are phenomenal. I mean, my entire family, at least the boys in my family, because they're the only ones that I've heard really talk about it, besides my grandma at least, they're also really thorough and analytical when they're talking about sports, especially on a local level, because they all have played the sport and they all know what they're talking about.
Especially in that local level setting. Like where I live now, it is a 6A school, and like politics are so different around a higher populated.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because politics in my hometown are like, so and so's trying to creep up on my like property line again. Like,
So true.
but yeah, you get the bigger you get, the more it's like actual like countrywide politics, and it's like I just want to hear the drama about. I'm trying to think of a fake name about Darlene going to the gas station 4 times a day because her lover works there while her husband's at work or something like that. No one does that, and nobody needs to know. I'm trying to find ride closures because usually you have to look like
Yeah.
day by day. It's not showing me that far in advance. Okay, well, currently it's not showing me ride closures that far in advance, but we do know some stuff.
That doesn't have a reopening date.
Yeah,
too.
if it reopened in September, I'm not worried about it in October, and we talked about those things in the forecast. I know Tiana's isn't going to be open, but Pooh's Corner is open. I think the Country Bear Barbecue area will be open by then.
Wood Mansion should be open.
Yeah,
Just the queue, I think, is still finishing up, but
yeah, and I think it's,
projected to be done soon.
I hope so. And I think they're still doing virtual queue
Yeah.
too, which I've heard is still a mess. Like it wraps around the fence on the outside like Splash Mountain used to do, of people just waiting for their virtual queue.
Sad.
It's one of those
We
things.
do it to ourselves.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it makes sense to be there, but it's also like you're kind of you're defeating the whole point of a virtual queue, is that you don't have to stand in line.
Yep.
Humans, we're funny. That's all I'm gonna say about it. And then let's see, dining reservations. I'm low-key kind of hoping that my parents don't listen to this podcast episode, because I'm trying to surprise them with reservations for the Lamplight Lounge at night so that we can watch World of Color together before we end the night.
It's seriously such a
So special.
such a good.
Because we used to be Blue Bayou people. We'd go to Blue Bayou every time we went, but now it's just getting so expensive, and I know. I'm trying not to cry. But we used to be Blue Bayou people. Every time we would go, we'd stop at Blue Bayou and we'd always eat there. But as of late, it doesn't hit as hard. I mean, I did get what I thought was a pretty good meal the last time we went, but the portions were so huge, and I don't think we had a microwave in our hotel, or we would have taken the rest of yours home. But we also were there kind of late.
Yeah. And like if I could have taken it home, I would have. Like I felt like
Yeah, you had like a plate was like this big,
was
wasn't it? Of
a
pasta.
massive bowl of pasta, and I
It
was,
was delicious though.
how did I not eat like a dent of this?
Yeah.
I felt like I was eating it for a solid hour.
And I feel like I helped you a little bit, but I also was trying to eat my food because I was like, what did I get? A filet mignon or something like that?
So good. You shared a bite.
It
Oh,
was so good. I was like, I cannot waste a single bite of this. Because I knew that we wouldn't be able to bring anything home. But
yeah.
yeah. Other things you need to consider are you going to be flying or if you're going to be driving. We've decided, well, I decided for my family that we're driving because we used to drive every time we would go. And it's gotten to the point again where driving is
A better option.
yeah, a better option, and it's way less than flying. I mean, well, we're saving like I think $300,
Yeah.
but that's just gonna go right back into gas.
Yeah.
Which speaking of, let's talk about like budget estimates for everything. So the car that we have rented, let's just start with gas. The car we rented is about 29 miles per gallon. And let's see how far it is from where I'm picking it up in Orem to Anaheim.
It's
647 miles. What I'm doing is I'm doing the math. So I'm dividing the miles that we're going to be driving by the miles per gallon. And then I'm going to assume that the car we're driving is like a 15-gallon tank.
right.
So then I'm going to divide 22 by 15, and that's how many stops that we're going to have to take if we go like,
From full to empty.
yeah, full to empty. So,
It will probably be about 6 tanks of gas total.
I think the last time I went that I had to stop and get gas, I was living in Sierra City, so I only had to stop once. But because we're going to be driving from Orem, this is probably going to say about like 2 to 3 times, and that's from empty to full. But because my family is a halfway gas kind of a people, we'll probably stop, yeah, probably like 6 to 8 times. So, just depending on gas.
Round trip total.
Yeah.
That's not one way. Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that gas is in a median, so I'm going to say it's $4.50 a gallon. Okay, we're going to do 15 times, we'll say $4.50 for the gas, so that's a full tank of gas. And then times that by 8. So we're filling it up 8 times. $540 about for gas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we're not really saving much by driving, but the point of it is just so that my family has as much time together as possible.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about getting to the airport on time or making sure like we have all of our luggage or check bags, whatever.
Minor inconvenience that could be popping. Yeah.
Because the drive is the fun part of all of it.
Yep.
Merch. There are specific things that I'm looking for when I'm going in the park. So usually you can look on the Disney Parks website and you can look at the prices there. Or like if you're wanting to buy a Spirit jersey, you can just assume that it's going to be $75.
Yep. Safe assumption.
And go from there.
You can also look at Shop Disney. But then too, like people who are in the parks, like Best Life and Beyond, they go in and like update you on what World of Disney has in it. And I know that Magic Journeys does that too. So you'll find a lot of people, influencers, vloggers that go into the parks and say, here, this is what we're seeing. This is what we like. So.
And I think the same thing with food. There are some very specific things that I want to get to, so that will be a part of my budget, but I want to see if I can only spend like $500 for both my husband and I on just our food and treats, because I'm not going to put everything into a whole budget because I feel like
if you budget out to the penny, then that's stressful.
Yeah, well, and if you give different categories, different spending amounts too. So like you can't put food and merch both in together and say, I'm only going to spend $500 for both of these because
that's unrealistic.
Yeah, and like if me and my husband both buy matching Spirit jerseys, that's already $150 out of the way.
Yep.
Like that's ridiculous. And then I only have $300 for churros. That's dumb. I need at least 5. I'm just kidding. But I want to see what we can do because this is definitely going to be a mobile order trip. So
yeah.
And then of course like the bus, we want to make sure that if we do take the bus that we have stuff set aside for our art passes. Those aren't too expensive. I think it's like
$10.
Yeah, $10 for the whole week.
Yeah, and we were there for 5 days.
Took it everywhere.
Yeah,
it was so nice.
We could have gone to the beach, and we were going to take the bus to the beach, but then we decided not to.
Yeah, it was fun to just stay at the park. And I mean, even with that, like the bus, it took us past like CVS, Walgreens. Like if we needed to stop anywhere and get groceries, yeah, like you could go and do that. So it was really nice. And then, of course, the last things that you want to think about once you're going to your trip, well, kind of around the last thing, just because I feel like packing is the last thing that you do when you're planning for a trip, because you want to do that as close to the date as possible, just so then you don't, pack a hairdryer and you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
But a good thing to look at. So if we're looking at the weather forecast, if we're going off of like the assumption that October is going to be the way that it always is, we're probably going to want to pack shorts or like longer shorts for the morning and pants for the evening.
Yeah, a sweatshirt.
Comfortable shoes always. And then if it's the rainy season, we're probably going to want to make sure that we pack either like a good rain jacket or ponchos.
Do you guys plan on having a midday break?
I don't think we are, no.
Then yeah, just pack your jacket,
Yeah.
because that's gonna be a cold park close.
100%. Well, we used to go in February. That was chilly, and we were getting rained on all day long. But it was fun. I didn't mind it. I had a hat with me. It's a good excuse for me to buy more hats. Yeah. If I have to, I guess I will. And then the main thing that I really wanted to do with my family on the trip, besides like I wanted to do the whole trip. I wanted to drive, and I wanted us all to stay in the same room. But the main thing that I wanted us to go on this trip and do is Disney Bound. And I'll put this up, of course, on the on Instagram once we get closer, like if we do a Disney Bound idea and all that kind of stuff. But this I sent to my family. I want to do Peter Pan.
Yes.
Because me and my two brothers, and there's a girl and two brothers on the show. So I'm Wendy. My brothers are Michael and John. My husband's Peter Pan, and then my parents are Hook and Tinkerbell.
Cute.
But yeah, these are the ideas because my family, they're not like super dress up people either. So I wanted to do something that they would still feel comfortable in and they could possibly wear again. So,
His brother.
yeah, so this is my dad. It just is a basic like black hat that I would embroider Captain Hook's hook onto it. And then he'd wear a black jacket, black pants, black shoes thing. Me and my mom are going to both wear active wear because I feel like that's a really fun way to Disney Bound. I found these cute little socks that I want to put little white puff balls on them so that when she wears her tennis shoes, she's got the little white puff like Tinkerbell has. And then her
Green sock with a white puff.
that would be cute, yeah. And then her shirt, I'm thinking will have like a little vinyl sparkle on it. And that'll be really cute. My oldest brother, I'm just telling him to wear a white shirt and whatever pants he wants because he's the kind of person that he has to be comfortable, which is, again, understandable, but he's also just a boy who doesn't really like to be involved in stuff like this. And then his hat will either have an umbrella or glasses on it. I haven't really decided, but the black hat is very integral to his outfit. He also doesn't have glasses, so, oh wait, no, he does. I'm going to make him wear his glasses. My youngest brother, the only thing I have for him is a pink shirt that will probably have like a vinyl like teddy bear on it because I'm trying to just do like the basic colors and then something that's very important to the character on them. So Michael is just going to have a pink shirt with a little teddy bear on it because Michael has his little teddy bear. And I think my brother has pink shoes too.
But then you have to put your dog is Nana.
Oh yeah, she'll be there in spirit. I'll have a little picture of her. For me, I don't know if I want to do a monochrome look or if I want to do a blue top and a dark blue bottom kind of a thing to tie in with like the belt. But my hair will be in a ponytail. I will have a
Blue bow.
Either a blue bow or well actually yeah, probably like a blue bow and then like just some plain Mickey ears, some black ones. And then my husband, of course, he's also not a dressed up person, so he's going to wear a green shirt and a green hat with a red feather on it. But it's one of those things where it's like I wanted it to be simple enough that like people aren't going to be like, why is this 14-year-old wearing a pink onesuit into the park? But we also look cohesive enough that people would look at us and be like, oh, they kind of look like Peter Pan characters. Like, that's really cute.
Precisely.
So, yeah, those were my ideas for that. My brother has suggested Monsters, Inc., so I'm hoping that maybe I can put an idea of that together. But,
Way to help.
yeah. you will definitely be of help. But yeah, this was a shorter episode. We just wanted to take you through the motions of what we want to do for a travel episode. But
Exactly.
please, like, find us on our website. You can DM us on Instagram, whatever. We would love to help you get to Disney ASAP as possible. You'll have the best tips and tricks from us. And please don't forget to donate so that we can get other deserving families to Disneyland as well. That is something that's very important to us, is getting people who deserve it to Disneyland.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right. And we'll see you guys at the
in the parks. Bye.